Hello everybody. So this video is going to be very satisfying because I have a to-do list that we are going to cross off, and we're going to go item by item doing productive tasks because a couple of weeks ago I started preparing for guests. I had one of my best friends ever, Leena Norms. You may know her because she has an amazing YouTube channel that I will link down below. She came to visit and I wanted the house to be ready for her. I want to preface this a little bit by saying that your house is already ready for guests. People are coming to see you. You do not have to stage your home for your friends or your guests. Don't let that be an obstacle between inviting people over and having a good time. However, because I am self-employed, because renovating the house has sort of weirdly become my job, and because I love my house and I'm just like really excited about it, I thought that this could be a really great motivator, because as a self-employed person, I just have to invent fake deadlines and fake motivators all of the time to like add a bit of pressure so that I actually get stuff done. So I was like, okay, Leena is coming in a month. What are the things that I would love to have gotten finished by the time that she comes? So I wrote out a list on my phone, but I've, for this video, written out a lovely list on paper so that we can experience the satisfaction of crossing things out together. And we're going to go through that list now. The first project I tackled actually wasn't on my list, but I'm doing the thing where you retroactively write something down because it did take a lot of time and you want to be able to account for that time by crossing it off the list. And so what I ended up doing was ripping out the back step of my, I don't even want to call it a patio. I don't even know what to call this concrete and wooden disaster behind my house. But the back step was really dodgy. It was rotting out, screws were sticking out like crazy, and so I was like, I just need to rip this out. And this was the first thing that I kind of did with Leena in mind. I was having a really stressful week, and I went out to the back to do something, and I just saw these screws, and I was like, why are these screws sticking out? Like, these screws have been sticking out of the step for months, and I've just stared at it, and what, Leena's just gonna come and trip on one of these stairs and trip. Like, I can't have this. And so I just started putting all of my emotions into ripping out this step. And now there's like a bigger drop down, and I've really realized that I need to just pull out the rest of that back area. So I am eventually going to rip that all out, but this was a really good first step. Now, literal first step. The next thing on the list was to install switch plates in the bathroom and the hallway. So as you guys know, very excitingly, I have rewired the upstairs. I did not personally do it. My electrician did it, but I paid a man to do it. It was my job to get switch plate covers for some of these plugs and for some of the switches, and I just kept forgetting to do it, and I was like, I've got to just get this little task done. And this is why I kind of love having guests over, because it does finally force you to finish these things that it's like, why have I been living this way? There's absolutely no need. So finally put covers on those, and they look really good. And then I was like, you know what? It's time to tackle a small electrical project. Let's keep the good electrical times going. In the little wallpapered hallway that I know you guys love so much, I love it too, I got the electrical put in for a sconce light, but I didn't have the sconce light yet. And so I bought it, it arrived, and it was time to install it. Installing it was tricky because I have installed lights before. It's pretty straightforward. Like, as long as you turn off the electrical, make sure that like the breaker is off, there is no power, everything is turned off. All you have to do is connect one cord to another cord to another, twist them together, put it all back in, screw it on the wall, and you're fine. But this one was different because it had its own switch. And so there was 2 cords sticking out that were black, 2 cords that were sticking out that were white. And then I had the black and white cord on the light itself. And so I was like, I was confused. And I actually texted my electrician and I was like, hey, want to install this sconce light, but I think I'm doing it wrong because it's not like working. What have I done? And he was like, okay, here's what you need to do. The black of this needs to go to the white of this. The white of this needs to go to the black of that. The black of that needs to go to the white of that. And all the grounds have to do this, and then it should work. And I did it, and the light turned on, and I was so excited. And yeah, I was really grateful to my electrician for helping me through that, and for living in like a rural place where my electrician would be chill enough to do something like that and didn't charge me. He was just like, yeah, love my electrician. Love that I got to install this light. And I also installed a new switch plate there. And so now, oh my God, the effect in the hallway is just gorgeous. I love the feeling now of having that light turned on in the evenings. It's very nice. The next tasks were the largest ones. I've kind of buried the lead a little bit. I decided, God, sort of last minute, to completely redo the living room. I was like, you know what? There's no need for it to be this dark, and there's no need to have this carpet anymore. So before we jump into the kind of the meat of the video, the massive renovation I undertook for this video, I would like to take a moment to focus on myself. Forget the guests for a second. Focus on myself, because today's sponsor is Birch. Thanks to Birch Living for sponsoring this video. Birch makes mattresses that are crafted with organic and natural materials that have been sustainably sourced. Their mattresses are free from polyurethane foams and from fiberglass, which can be really bad for your health. And they use 100% organic wool, which is, of course, a biodegradable, sustainable resource. Birch is GOTS certified organic, which is the leading textile processing standard for organic fibers across the globe, and they're Green Guard Gold certified, which means that they're free of all of those unnecessary chemicals and pollutants. They're also Fair Trade certified, which means that they partner with Fair Trade certified factories and use only Fair Trade organic cotton across the entire Birch brand. I've had a few really comfortable nights of sleep on this mattress. It's definitely in the kind of medium soft range, which is really plush and feels fancy. But for me, the biggest deal is knowing that my mattress is now something really sustainable and better for the planet. When you're making such a big investment that you're going to have for such a long time, if you can choose a sustainable option, which you can with Birch, I think that that is the way to go. They also have a 100-night sleep trial along with a 25-year warranty. So if something isn't working for you, you can always return it and donate it even to a local charity. Plus, it's delivered straight to your door, so you don't have to figure out how to get a giant mattress from a store to your house. Check out Birch Living at birchliving.com/Ariel to get 20% off of a Birch mattress plus 2 free EcoRest pillows. Thanks so much to Birch for sponsoring this video. They are linked down in the description if you want to check them out. Now, let us transition to talking about this massive renovation. Hello and welcome to my living room. This is a room that I have put absolutely no effort into whatsoever. Not even a little bit. Not even one iota. When we first moved into the house, this kind of instantly became a storage room. It got full of items and boxes and was just a very temporary mess. Eventually it became the living room, a little bit by accident. Like I was just moving stuff out of what was the dining room so that I could work on that, but then this just became the living room and I never touched it. I haven't done anything about the walls or the carpet or anything, and haven't decorated it in any way. And the part of the thing is, hello. Part of the reason why is because this room, when I do get around to renovating it, is going to be one of the most dramatic renovations because it's the only room where I'm going to be removing a massive wall. I want to remove that whole back wall. You can see the bathroom that's kind of back there. I'm going to destroy that bathroom. This room is going to become way, way bigger. Because of that, it's sort of like, what can I do in here in the meantime? And it just wasn't really a priority. Hello. Wow. But I am in a mood to fix. And there's two things that we could do in here that will actually make such a big difference. The first one, as you can imagine, is removing the carpet. It is not disgusting in the way that like the kitchen carpet was disgusting. Just the concept of a carpet in a kitchen, you know, strikes fear into the heart of men. But this carpet is just like dirty. You know, the side door to the house is right here, and so people walk in here all the time right onto the carpet, and it's just 50 years old, and you can tell in certain places how bright it's supposed to be and how it's gone from like a nice orange to now just brown. So getting rid of it will just be a big improvement, and it will make it less gross in here. But then the other big thing is the walls. They're all this fake brown wood paneling, and I think on camera it doesn't look too bad, but in real life it just wasn't finished very well. None of the edges were finished or sealed. You can see little nails poking out all over the place. It's flaking off in certain areas, and so eventually I'm gonna pull that all down and I have to repair the plaster walls, and that is a whole process. And what I realized is for $60, for the price of a can of paint, I can paint over all of this and make this a nice bright white room that is nice and brighter and cleaner feeling and more pleasant for the foreseeable future. Because I don't think I'm going to be renovating this room for another year, 2 years. And in the meantime, I can improve it vastly for not so much money and just a couple hours work. I'm like so excited that this kind of suddenly got bumped up my list. So I'm going to go throw on some overalls and I'm going to start painting this with my mom. We're going to spend a couple hours painting. Right, Max? Yes. One of the best parts is that we don't care about spilling paint on the floor, because I'm going to rip up the carpet tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day, and progress is going very well. So, we're in the bathroom right now, but look at this. Look at this. And I don't even have this silly light on, which, by the way, when I turn it on, is extremely unhelpful because it makes the walls look so splotchy. But anyhow, you can really see how much brighter and cleaner this room looks. I am going to do the third and final coat of paint. The first two coats went down really well and it's looking awesome. So I know the third coat will be the final coat. And my mom is painting all of the edges and corners and crevices, which is awesome. So we'll definitely finish this today, and I will definitely be starting on carpet removal tonight. I had just the week prior removed the carpet in the kitchen, and it had been a hassle and a half. And so I mentally prepared myself for the same battle, but the carpet in this room came up so much easier. Like it just sort of peeled right off, and it was not a lot of work. And I was like, well, this is exciting. Maybe I'm going to get really lucky. No, because the underlayment in this room was plywood. God. It was plywood, like a really cheap, thin plywood, versus in all of the other rooms in the house, the underlayment under the carpet has been this cardboard, particle board type thing that, although it's a lot of work to get it up, it does come up. It does come up pretty easily in big chunks, right? So it's a lot of work, but you feel the momentum. The plywood was nailed down with so many nails. Oh my God. Like I actually gave up one night. Like I started working on it and I was like, I do not have the psychological patience in this moment to attempt this because it was not coming up at all. It was so demoralizing. I was like, have I made a giant mistake removing the carpet? Because now I have this really gross black residue on top of crappy plywood. This is a nightmare. This is much worse. And it's one of those things where things have to get worse before they can get way better. But I was in the things have gotten really worse thing, have I made a big mistake phase. The next day, I'm like, okay, maybe the plywood, I'm coming at it from this angle. If I literally just come at it from this angle, maybe it will come up easier. And it did. It was just like not tearing up. I guess the grain of the plywood was mainly running that way as opposed to that way. And so this way was working better. But it was still really slow going. And this is where my mom really jumped in to save me. She helped me so much by ripping up this plywood with me, because I could have done it by myself, but it would have just taken me so much longer. Whereas with my mom, we did it together in a couple of days and removed it. The next thing on the list was finishing the floors. So what I discovered under this menagerie of disgust was the most beautiful old hardwood floors. Like, I haven't found these in any other room in the house. They're really, really lovely floors. Unfortunately, I don't think that I'm going to be able to keep them. This floor is not insulated at all. And it's cold. You can just feel the cold, okay? So I was like, let's finish it. Let's not put too much effort into it, but let's make it nice, because we are going to have it for a while. And having a nicer floor in the temporary is going to be awesome. So my mom and I spent a day sanding the floors. And I do regret we used orbital sanders. And this is because we were like, we're just going to spend a couple hours on this. We don't need it to get really good. Like, we're just trying to sand it down so that I can put polyurethane over it and that'll be it. But yeah, I should have just rented a floor sander or rented a belt sander, but we did it with orbital sanders, which in retrospect was a mistake because it just took us a lot longer than it needed to. But we did get it a lot smoother, and then I covered it with polyurethane, and we had these beautiful new floors that just look so, so, so nice. Wow, wow, wow. It has made such a difference. So the final task that I did for this room was to find a rug on Facebook Marketplace, and bought that guy and rolled him out and put the furniture back in place. And it's so much nicer in there. Hanging out there actually feels pleasant now. I like going to that living room now. And this is a monumental moment because live in this video announcing, we officially don't have any carpets in the house anymore. All of the original old carpets are gone. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! We don't have any more carpets in the house. All the carpets we have now are rugs that I can easily clean and remove and move. And yeah, thank God all of the musty carpets are officially gone. So when I moved in here, there was carpet in the kitchen. There was carpet in the upstairs bathroom. There was carpet in almost every room, and now they are gone. So with the living room feeling so much better, so much nicer, the rug really brought it all together. We had some more things that I wanted to get done. The next kind of big one that is like, again, oh, this was one where my family and I just kept saying, why didn't we do this before? Was I put down, is it laminate? I think it's laminate flooring. Laminate flooring in the bathroom. So again, this bathroom is one of those rooms that is not going to exist in my final vision of this home. It's in a bad spot. It's really awkward to have a bathroom off of your living room because you just don't want to go to the washroom next to people that are watching TV or whatever. It's weird. So I want to move that, and I want to move it way down to, again, take advantage of that back room. But for the foreseeable future, it's the main bathroom. And when we moved in here, all it had was a layer of plywood that was in terrible condition. So smartly, my mom was like, let's just put a tarp down, because we were literally in quarantine. We were in COVID quarantine, and we had some tarps with us that we had packed in the car just in case, but we had them. So we're like, let's put this down. We just have had that for 2 years. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And so my mom was like, what if you got just like some of that like click flooring? And I was like, how have I never thought to do that? So got the flooring, installed it with my dad. And my dad, once again, did some of his incredible custom cutting. Like, this is the part that I hope one day to be as good as my dad is at custom cutting pieces of wood, because he just gets it so beautifully done so that stuff is just sliding into place. It's beautiful. But now I learned how to install that kind of flooring. It was really easy. I think overall that project cost me like $150, which is not cheap, but is not that expensive long term. And the difference it has made to that bathroom is undeniable, unbelievable. It looks so much better. I can't believe we had a tarp floor for 2 years. Let's move on. The next thing that I wanted to do was to finalize my little drawer that's in the guest room. So this is over the top, kind of unnecessary, but I like it. I like the idea of having like a lovely, truly intentional guest room. So in the drawer, there is a wireless, like a Bluetooth keyboard, mouse, and a mouse pad, because all of my friends that are visiting are like self-employed or do a lot of work on their computer. And I'm like, if people ever want to come and stay, but they need to do some work, which I have had that happen, why not give them a keyboard and a mouse and a mouse pad so that it's a little bit more pleasant? And they're all just items that I've used in the past and still have, but like when I got my new computer, it came with a new keyboard. So now I still have this old Bluetooth keyboard, so I can keep that in the drawer. And there's pens, and there's some Advil, or is it Tylenol, whatever, headache medicine, because how often is that a thing where you're like at someone's house and you're like, can I get a Tylenol? Yeah, no problem. It's in the drawer. And scissors, because I find that to be really helpful. And then also a lighter, because I've got candles in there, and I'm like, you gotta have a nice little lighter in there. The final thing is there's a guest book in there, which I think is really fun. And having my friends fill out that guest book is one of my great joys in life. So that has been awesome. The next one was very easy. So many of these things I had been putting off doing because I thought this is going to be a big one. Like, this is going to take forever. It literally, I think, took me 2 seconds. I thought I was going to need a hairdryer, but the item on the to-do list was to remove some tape glue residue from the window in the guest room. So basically, I thought that this was going to take forever. And the reason that this residue was there in the first place was because when we moved into the house, one of the window panes there was broken. So my brother, as a temporary measure, put some foam and some plastic and just taped over the windowsill so that it would like not be literally just cold air pouring in. Eventually, my dad fixed the window pane, and we had a sealed window pane, and everything was good, and it was my job to remove the, like, gunk off of the window, and I just never got around to doing it. I got my little scraper, I got my hair dryer, because I thought the heat gun would be, like, overkill, but I got the tools, and the second I started scraping it, it just came off instantly. It was so silly. So I should have this was a 4-second task. I scraped off the residue, and then I cleaned the window properly, and now it looks great and very pleasant. The final thing for this video is I built a cabinet for this bedroom. So I did have one here. You might recall I had a little cabinet in this room, a little chest of drawers in this room a couple of years ago. But then my dad needed one for his room, and I was like, this is only for the guest room. We don't have guests that often. Like, you should have it. And so I gave it to him. But now that I had guests coming again, I was like, actually, I really do want a chest of drawers here. It's quite useful to have some of my brother's stuff, because my brother is my main guest. To have my brother's stuff just kind of permanently in the bottom drawer is useful. So I want to get that back. So I got this Tarva one from IKEA, and I built that. And I've decided I really want to customize this. So this is going to be a future video, I think. I want to paint it in a lot of fun ways and make it really cool. Maybe change out the legs on it. I basically am planning like a big upgrade of this chest of drawers. But for now, it's fully functional. It's made of real wood. And yeah, that was my last task that I did. I just sat here late at night and I built this thing, and I finished it the morning of, put it in place, got dressed, and went and picked them up at the airport. It turned out to be such a great visit. Leena came with her boyfriend Craig, and we had such a fun time. I showed them so many of my favorite spots in Nova Scotia and my house, and it was just a wonderful visit. I really kicked back and relaxed, but I also was like so happy that I had worked so much up to their visit. I felt like I really got so much done, and I was, my mom actually joked, she was like, Ariel, you should thank them for coming because it caused us all to do so much stuff that we've all been meaning to do. And I was like, it's so true. Like, it was such a great motivator. So I got so much done, and I hope you enjoyed following along on the journey with me. Thanks again to Birch for sponsoring this video. Once again, they are linked in the description if you want to check them out. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.